Hey everyone, it's Joe from BuildAssetsOnline.com, and today we have a very special episode with Steve and Jill from Land Academy. If you watched or listened to our last episode, we actually joined Land Academy, Mike and myself, earlier in the year, like in the beginning, and we are now making land investing a big part of our portfolio. Inside the episode, you'll learn all about the process of buying and selling land and the ins and outs of Steve and Jill's land business. It's really turned out to be a great episode. If you did like the episode and think you want to get into what they teach, you can find their educational packages at landacademy.com. And as a Build Assets Online listener, if you use coupon code BAO, you can save $500 on their course. We highly, highly recommend it. We use it ourselves. We're deep in this stuff at this point, and we're doing it alongside dropshipping, Kindle publishing, building blogs, because it fits right in our criteria and gives us huge diversification away from the being reliant on big tech and all the online stuff. So enjoy the show. You do the intro, Mike, because they probably can't even see me.
Okay. All right, guys. So we have a really exciting show for today. We are here with Steve and Jill from the landacademy.com program, as well as landinvestors.com. So today, before I introduce them, we're going to be talking about the basics of land investing, kind of the history of it, and I believe these people are really the foremost experts on investing in land in the country, maybe even the world. So, yeah, so Steve and Jill, thank you for coming on, and how you guys doing?
Excellent. Doing great.
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to just give the people watching and listening essentially just a 60-minute kind of summary of what it is you guys do and who you are and what you're about.
Yeah, I cut my teeth after college in some way in commercial real estate, whether it was in the form of public accounting or whatever. And back then, this is the early 90s, manifested itself in the buying and selling of long-term care facilities like assisted living homes and nursing homes and stuff, which is arguably maybe the most complicated, convoluted, longest type real estate transaction you can do. We even bought and sold a couple of hospitals. So you can imagine how much regulatory stuff is involved in that, and who's got to approve it, and municipalities and lenders and all kinds of stuff. So in the back of my head, while I was going through this for about 5 years, I'm like, there's got to be an easier way to buy and sell real estate. So I went online. It was right when the internet was really didn't know what it was yet, but getting some traction. And I bought an 88-acre property in Arizona for, I think, $8,000. Immediately repackaged it, put some maps, some cooler pictures, did a bunch of stuff. This is all from Ohio. I did it from Ohio, and sold it for 20. This is all in a matter of 30 days. And then I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life. So I went from the most complicated, crazy, convoluted real estate deal to the simplest. There's no lenders involved in our stuff. There's no title agents involved. It's really just, you guys sell stuff online, so you know how easy it is. There can be if you reach the right people.
Yeah.
So from there, I mean, we're 16,000 deal. I met Jill in 2010-ish, and she brought to what I created up to that point what was missing, the sales piece and some organization and a bunch of other things. And 16,000 deals later, here we are.
Yeah. And obviously, I found you guys, I don't even know how. I think just like, maybe I don't know, I was in a daze and I got your ebook or something. And, time went on. I don't think I ever got the ebook. I don't think it was ever like delivered to my inbox. But
That's great.
But
Oops.
I swear for like months and months, I kept getting emails from Jill DeWit I'm like, who is this person? What is this? And eventually I just opened it and, I started clicking around. I started seeing what you guys were about, and the idea just instantly connected with me because, everyone is told, yeah, real estate, you got to get into real estate, you got to do real estate. And to me, with what we're doing, with just building stuff from scratch online, it's easy, right? There's no asbestos to worry about. There's no leaks, no tenants, all these things that can cause headaches, no being leveraged by having to get a mortgage. And so as I started to realize who you guys were and what was going on, it really clicked with me that this is a way to get into real estate by, you don't have to be leveraged. You don't have to worry about all the things that are involved in a house, and it's all online based essentially. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. So you guys said you've done 16,000 deals.
Just about.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped counting.
Do you feel like there's been like a particular trajectory to that? Like, was your business different, say back in the day, in the early days of the internet versus how it is now?
Yeah, you should share, because it started off not a lot of volume. In the middle, there was so much volume. Like when I came on board at the tail end of this crazy online volume, like he would have properties closing every hour, kind of thing.
Oh my God.
It was just insane. And then now we've changed it up to, I don't want to do that. Now we're doing a lot more of, bigger dollar amounts.
Yeah.
And, maybe not every hour, but it's still good. So you want to.
I mean, there were a lot of separate stages. So I did that 80-acre deal. And then the first thing I thought I called the guy that I bought it from and said, because he was buying and selling a lot of property. And I said, there's got to be a consistent way. You guys are online. You have an e-commerce company. You know how hard it is to buy stuff cheap. That's the whole key, because you always know what you can sell it for online.
Right.
So real estate's no different. And so I had a good conversation with this guy. I'm like, how the hell do you buy this property consistently and make any money? And, he was being a wholesaler to me, which we are now the wholesaler. So what ended up happening, this is long before RealQuest data was available or any of that stuff. So I traveled around the country. I was completely unattached from a marriage standpoint and children and all that. Traveled around the country going to auctions, tax deed
Life
auctions
was
with a gavel.
much better back then, right?
There's pros and cons to all that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's a different show.
Okay.
So it was all auction based back then. Around I don't know, the late 90s, I discovered RealQuest Pro, which is a data company that aggregates assessor data, and developed this mailer list thing. And, if you follow Land Academy, you know all about it. And you guys know all about it.
Yeah.
So then it became even easier to buy property inexpensively by sending out blind mailers, so it's just a constant stage of improvements. Fast forward to like last week, what she does, I sent a large mailer out to a bunch of counties, blind offer campaign, and she, like in the $20,000 to $50,000 range, and then we sell them for like $150,000 to $200,000. So we're pretty close to netting average now $100,000 a deal.
So our audience might not fully grasp what a blind mailer is, and basically you're just sending offers to people in the mail. That's it. You're offering them something for their property in the mail. And since you guys have been doing this since before 2010, at the deal velocity that you're doing now, what would you say, like, are you getting deals from mailers that you sent out 5 years ago, 3 years ago? How did it build up to this velocity, or are you just sending a bunch of mail now?
Both. But there's still, especially right now with the whole, COVID times and people needing money or it's just so many deals are happening. It's great, but we're getting a lot more traction right now from offers from, I don't know, 7, 10 or more years ago.
Yeah.
They're just so excited that we're still here.
They never go away.
That's what's the beautiful thing about this too, is that, they're real offers, professional, hi, I really want to buy your property, has your name on it, real personal with a, an exact dollar amount. And whoever opens that up, they either love it or hate it. And we hear about it. And if they love it, but it's not the time, they're going to put it in their envelope for a rainy day. And guess what? Now it's a rainy day.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a lot of people calling back saying, I'm so happy you're still here. Do you still want to buy this? Sure, let's talk about it.
How many offers do you think you've sent out total?
Oh God. Somebody asked me that recently.
I know.
Millions and millions and millions.
Millions of offers. Oh my God. How'd you even come up with that idea? Or did you come up with it?
It was you.
I don't know. You know what it was?
Faxing.
It was I originally did it back before the laws changed to buy long-term care facilities. In healthcare, there's an incredible amount of data available. There was back then. There still is now, but data is involved in everything now. But for whatever reason, because the government funded everything, funded healthcare back then, I could get everybody's fax number. I could just buy the database, and I did. And so I was sending faxes to facility administrators overnight because the long distance charges were cheaper. And that's how that planted the seed eventually when I found out I could get the assessor database. Between RealQuest Pro and faxing, you've always been able to go to the county and get an assessor roll, tax roll. It was just it was in data disaster format. Like you really needed a PhD in data to figure it all out, which I did for a while until I found RealQuest. So it just made sense to me. You know, you send 1,500 offers out, somebody signs it and sends it back, regardless of the number that's on there.
I like to think it was actually brilliant of you. It's like, I think it kind of started as like a lazy move. Like, I'm not going to call these people, which is brilliant. I'm just going to fax them all, see who wants to sell. Then they'll call me, then we'll talk. And I'm like, and now we still do it today. We're like, it's the best way on the planet. I'm going to sit. I mean, we're doing a mailer right now. You're doing this week. Well, we're looking at 8,000 units. Who's going to call? We're not going to hire a team and blast out 8,000 phone calls. Never mind, we could. It doesn't make any sense. But it's too easy to send 8,000 people real specific offers to buy that property. And then the ones that want to sell will call us back.
It's a pretty low-tech solution this day and age. Once a month, somebody, you know, usually guys your age, will just kind of look at me cockeyed like you actually send something in the mail. Like, like post office snail mail. Like I said, I mean, it's a low-tech solution. We've tried texting. We've tried all those other types of solutions. And there's, for some reason, sending that piece of paper really matters for some reason.
I love it because like you used the word seed earlier, and it's funny because obviously I have email, I have text messaging, and I get the regular mail. But when I get something in the mail, I typically won't throw something out until I open it. Whereas with a text, like I'm like, oh, I'm not reading that, or email, no, I'm not opening that. But mail is different because you don't typically, like, I feel like it might be important. Let me open it. And you do end up saving documents. Like I save stuff all the time that comes in the mail. Like it's something I actually do. So, I like the concept of the fact that the reason why I asked how many years back you're getting offers from today is that I love the concept of you just plant the seed and then for years to come, you're just getting offers or you're closing on offers that have manifested over years. And it's just, I like that. I like that in a business.
It's very consistent with what we do and what we teach. And you know what? Like, I'm sick of high-tech stuff. I saw this, and it's low-tech, but it's scalable.
Yep.
And that is it. Because we were talking before the show, you know, I was kind of explaining how, you know, we try and have a diversified portfolio because people being reliant on one platform is never a good formula for anyone. And so you're not relying on anybody except for the post office, which isn't probably going away. The post office isn't going to ban you. They're not going to penalize you in their algorithm. And on top of the fact that you can basically like pick your margins. You can say, okay, I want to go after properties that are $100,000, but I want to buy them for 20. And this is like a mass solution for that. So I think it's genius, but so why do people accept these offers that are so below what you're going to sell it for?
Situation. It's always a situation. It's not about
Life
the money.
circumstance.
Yeah, it's never about the money. You're solving a problem for them, and especially now. You know, now a lot of people need cash for other reasons, you know, their job and things like that. But often it's just the kids find it. You know, that's a common one. Somebody passes on. You know, kids find the letters, whatever it is, things like that. Or, you know, I have, you know, couples, they buy this property. They thought they were going to retire and build there. And no, that's not going to happen. And, you know, they're tired of paying taxes on it. Like, let's just get the cash and move on.
Every once in a while, you get some guy that's been collecting. He's like in his 80s usually. He's been collecting property in like some place like central Indiana. I'm just throwing that out there as an example. He's got 900,000 pieces of property that he's just like, you know, I'm not going to be around forever. What do you say we just put a deal together for X?
Right.
And, you know, we always say yes. So
It's
a very effective way to reach people for some reason.
And it's like, another one of the cool things is, you know, we're used to driving traffic to us, but with this, like, we're the customer. We're the one that wants to buy. Someone isn't coming to buy from us, at least on the acquisition side. So it's kind of flipping the script.
We started this in 2015, Jill, because we were tired of answering people's questions.
Land Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Land Academy itself, not our regular land buying and selling business.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain it back then like this. You throw all this stuff out there. Most people get up in the morning and they try to do stuff. They go out, especially like real estate agents and salespeople, they try to get customers and do stuff. That's not what this is. This is throw it all out there. Let the mail work itself out. That's what I say. And that 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 people in a mailer that are going to, you just hit them at the right time, they'll find you.
Yep.
They'll call us. They call her and they'll convince her to buy their property. So,
exactly.
I guess it's traffic driving in a low tech way.
Yeah, but it's just different because it's not people coming to you to buy something that you're selling. So you're going to everyone else like, can I buy this? Can I buy this? Can I buy this? And so you're bound to get a good deal at just, statistically speaking. So like, what do you think is the biggest deal you guys have ever done in terms of dollar amount or gross profit?
There's 2 deals I did. One land deal long before Jill, where
I know the corner. There's that one corner off that freeway. Okay, I know that one.
So I don't know.
I've seen it.
$700,000.
Yeah.
Almost $1 million on that. Jill and I went to just by pure luck, went to a tax auction, really like in 2011, and bought, I think, 12,000 properties. For
like $50,000 or something nutty like that.
I mean, it was a huge deal for us.
Like we had to wait
we made
back
almost
then.
$1 million on that.
Well, they're printing out. It took hours to print out the deeds.
These are just land deals. Like we're actually. I just got off the phone right before you guys. We're buying a couple of mobile home parks right now. So those will eventually be bigger deals. But in this environment, that's what this was always supposed to be for me. It was always supposed to be a way for me to generate capital for us. To invest in other type of more typical commercial real estate deals. And every time Jill and I did it, every single time we step off and like buy a couple houses to rent out or a small apartment building or anything like that, like 6 months goes by and we're like, we could just make so much more money buying and selling land.
Like, what are we thinking? Like, so much more work. We're like, why?
I don't know what the biggest deal we've ever done is.
Yeah.
I mean, $1 million's pretty good.
That's the thing. It's like, even now, we were talking to someone recently that his business, it's buying companies, right? And he puts people together, and he'll get a couple $1 million at the end of a thing, but he puts 2 years into it. And I'm like, I don't want to spend 2 years for $2 million.
He raises the capital, gets the seller, puts it basically investment banking.
I mean, we could do real estate deals like that, but I don't want to wait 2 years or a year for that kind of a thing. Over 6 months to me is like, I'm out. I'm sick of it.
1 month.
Yeah, that too. So that's the way we are. We have found our sweet spot. It's not, we could buy them really cheap and sell them in a day and do those small things. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Our sweet spot's like, really buy for 20, 30, 40,000. Definitely double our money or more, and then the guy who gets it, he still gets a quality thing it's worth more than what he paid.
Yeah, because if you're buying it for 20% of what it's technically worth, and you sell it for 70%, that's still a hot deal.
Everybody wins.
You got it, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought there. Joe, do you have any questions?
Well, I have kind of not a devil's advocate type question, but like. So sometimes you get people who, on our channel or whatever, they have questions just because they don't really understand like business in general. And that question is, why don't they sell it themselves? If these people have all this property, why don't they just sell it themselves knowing what the value is?
Exactly. I wonder that also. It's the funniest thing. But do they know what's involved to get the posting, or even finding an agent and the right agent who's going to help them with that? And gosh, what's a good photograph, and what they should do, and how to make it great? Or do they even, most of the time, it's a time thing is what I really think it is. It's like, you have a yard sale on a Saturday. You're not going to have a 30-day yard sale and maximize profit by 5 o'clock on Saturday or earlier. You're done, man. You're giving the stuff away.
Yeah.
I just want it off my yard.
It's the same thing with land.
That's what's going on here. They're like, by the time they call us, they're like, how much, how fast? Done. You know,
Yeah.
they just, that's it. And it's great because they feel good about it and I feel good about it. I mean, I was just thinking about, I sold a car one time recently and I know I undervalued it because I wanted to sell it fast. And the very sweet man that bought my car was kind of, as he's handing out cash, was actually saying he's feeling guilty because he's underpaying. I'm like, I don't flipping care. I'm happy you're happy. Go have fun.
Yeah.
So
That, and he thought he had a shot with you.
well, there is.
Well, out of curiosity, so you guys, I know you guys have a car academy, and you might have one other thing, but was
Car
that-
Academy, it doesn't exist
House
yet.
Academy.
Oh, does Car Academy, was that from like a Car Academy type deal, even though you don't have it yet, or was it just you sold a car?
Oh,
We started down the path pretty heavily. I invested a bunch of time and money from a tech standpoint to develop Car Academy, just like Land Academy. You know, you send a bunch of stuff out, buy a bunch of cars, and resell them. Or, in a perfect world, hook up with a dealer who's got a license to do that thing. And I tested it, and it tested out pretty well. I purchased cars that way myself, but in the end, it got hooked. There's too much regulation. The DMV database is extremely regulated in how you use it. So we got creative and went to outsource data companies like Atom Data. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. That do a lot of special projects for like insurance companies, people who provide car insurance. And so huge companies. And so we try to source out the data, and in the bitter end, the quality of the data wasn't what it should have been.
right.
You know,
I
we were
see.
getting,
Yeah.
people were getting letters from us that when, you know, I owned that car 3 years ago, and since it's been sold twice. So just real estate data that we have is just, we're spoiled, you know, it's just
Right.
perfect real estate. You're only as good as your data.
Right.
Yeah,
can get-
I do want to segue into the data stuff because, as you say, Steve, that is the fun part.
Yeah.
And you know, in in what we do, you know, we do a lot of Google ads, and so kind of in our e-commerce stores, we will essentially find kind of low competition, not necessarily low competition, but high intent keywords that people are searching for, right? So if someone's buying a kitchen island, and we have a particular brand, and they're searching, you know, what's a brand? I don't even know. Cuisinart. What are you gonna say, Joe?
Acme Kitchen Island.
Yeah, Acme Kitchen Island, right? Like that is that's like a high intent thing. If someone searches that, they wanna buy most likely. And so, you know, over time we develop these sites and we get them cash flowing, and we're just analyzing data and tweaking and improving, just kind of like that investment guy you were talking about. We can go and we can sell it for a multiple. But with this, you do need to manipulate the data, but it's almost like an instant cash out on a website without needing, you know, you need to prove that it's cash flowing and dealing with all the profit and loss stuff. So can you give like a little bit of insight as to the data portion? How do
Yeah,
you?
so you know, there's 3,144 counties in the country. Each one has an assessor, a county assessor, and that's the person, along with the treasurer in the county, assesses the value of a piece of real estate, whether it's a piece of land, an office building, or a house, or anything else, and they put it on what's called a tax roll. And the tax roll, the treasurer then mails out the tax bill. So many people who have mortgages don't realize this because a mortgage company does it for them anyway. You have to pay you have to pay real estate taxes if you own a piece of property. When there's no lender, you know, you get a notice in the mail that says, "Hey, you got to pay $1,300 today." And no one's ever prepared for it. No one ever knows about it. And when you own thousands of properties like us, they're constantly coming. And so it's not that the management of that data from the assessor standpoint and the treasurer standpoint is imperative to the financial health of the county, and it's directly tied to their paychecks. So the quality of that data is very important to them in assessing properties and stuff. So it's all built in. It's like, so my job is easy. You guys know this. Once you get quality data, it's not hard to make good decisions.
It's true.
You know, the quest is to find the quality data and get it in a format where you can use it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I hope that answers your question. At a certain point, it's not hard to sort for XYZ County, between 2.5 and 18 acres is what I want. I only want it in this portion. I mean, you can scrub it out till it's like perfect, and then send them an offer for half of what you know you can sell it for. And a very predictable and consistent number of people sign it and send it back.
Well, there's also there's like the data portion of doing the pricing, right? Because you need to kind of figure out, okay, in this area or even in this zip code, if you really want to get granular, 1 acres are selling for this. And sometimes, there's different properties. Some are waterfront, some are trash. So like, how are you kind of manipulating that to your benefit?
So there's a lot of ways to approach pricing. My favorite right now is zip code based pricing based on existing property that's for sale and sold property. And only until very recently, this data wasn't available. Realtor.com or Zillow or Redfin or Trulia or any of these data providers like DataTree, this data wasn't available until, I don't know how many years ago it was, but it's not a lot of years ago. And then now with the how prevalent scraping is, you can get this data in pretty quickly and pretty inexpensively in a format where I can say, yep, I know price per acre in this zip code is $1,000. I know that retail is $1,000. I want to be selling it for 500, so I better be buying it for 200. And it's, I'm oversimplifying, but when you get that into however you see data, I happen to see it in Excel, whether it's Access Excel or whatever. It doesn't take long to process individually priced 10,000 plus offers.
Mm-hmm. And I think you've mentioned how like someone in the group once sent out just a flat offer to basically everyone in the entire state.
Yeah.
So,
I
know it worked out, right?
That's how I used to do it because we just didn't have the data.
Yeah.
And it worked. It worked then. We've split tested this to ever. We've taken a data set. We've said only back tax properties with back taxes on it. We've sent it to people who are out of state. Their situs address for the property and their mailing address is out of state. And I mean, any type of split test you can think of. And it comes down to 1,500 to 1. For every 1,500 offers you send out that are rationally priced or correctly priced, for us, it's a lot less because we're very experienced. But I use 1,500 because I don't want people to be upset, get disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add though that a mass offer for $500 is not going to yield you the best results. Weeding out out of state sellers and everything is not going to yield you the best results. Zeroing in on just back tax property is also not going to yield you the best results.
You got to send to
You really got to send, because that's what it's kind of saying. We've tested it all, and I think that's why people come to Land Academy. They're like, I can fast forward my career how many years because you guys made all the mistakes, which is true. We did, and now we know really, really well, and we're always tweaking it. We one of the things about us
stuff every time.
It's true is that I think that's why people are it works so well too, because it's not like I'm a professor now and I stopped doing that anymore and I just teach. No, because that's really where the money is. I'm an investor first. I'm buying and selling, property right alongside you, and I'm just showing you how to do it too, because in the end, we're all doing bigger and better deals. Because that's the beautiful, not to jump ahead, but that's what the thing of this has grown into. Now I have an awesome community of investors who think just like me. And when they need money or I need money or we got to help each other, whatever, they know an area better than I know. This is awesome.
Yeah. And, I think like for how we do these ads, sometimes it can get really complicated and sometimes you do need like a high level of expertise to get a good result. But I think that the shotgun just mail the whole state approach, and the fact that it works, I think a lot of people come in and they think they could just throw money at the problem and get a result. But this is like one of the only situations where that's literally what you need to do. Just, price stuff out, just try things, get the mail out, and the potential for ROI is so high because if you stand to make $10,000 or more on a particular deal, the mail cost, which is like 50 cents a piece, it's pretty minuscule in the grand scheme.
Well, here's some real numbers for you. You'll appreciate this. We did a mailer, I think 60 days ago-ish, 2 months ago. My job is to get the data, get it in the spreadsheet, work it out, price it, whatever I need to do, and then get it in the mail. And then Jill takes over from there. Her team receives the phone calls and does the deals and stuff. And it was about a 12,000 unit mailer. So let's just say it cost $6,000, which sounds like a lot up front. And I it was four counties, 3 in one state, 1 in another state. And I screwed this mailer up like I've never screwed a mailer up in my life. The lines were all off. Pricing was wrong. Just a bunch of stuff. I don't know what, And here's the result of the mailer. We bought 3 properties in the $20,000 range in one state. 2 of the properties that are adjacent to each other, they're 2 20-acre properties. We bought them for like $22,000 each. They're worth maybe 80 to 100 each. And then in the other state where I think we're buying, it's 40. I don't remember. Right. It's some acreage like that between 20 and 40 where the margin's maybe 60,000. So we'll net $250,000 after fees on everything. And it was a mess. It was an absolute disaster mailer. So we spent $6,000 to make a $250,000.
And you messed it up.
It all goes wrong, and I priced it. I mean, maybe she did something wrong. Maybe we make $100,000.
Yeah, still a win.
Yeah. So in your guys' business, so when you're first getting started, and obviously your budget is maybe kind of tight, you don't have that much money to invest in land and invest in mailers and stuff like that. Obviously you want to follow the methods that you teach and price it right, and so you just have the best chance of getting a good mailer back because you might outrun your budget. But in your case, since you've been doing this for so many years, you probably have the capital to what I'm getting at is, do you really even pay attention to, at this point, like getting the mailers right 100% of the time, or do you just, more is better always?
That's a good question.
Savannah, go ahead.
Yes, my job is so much easier if the offers come back signed and it's a price.
And it's worth 10% of what it's worth.
Well, no, but let's just say it's not a goofed up one. Let's just say if it comes back signed and we're on the same page, like that's the dream. I don't have to talk about. No one talks about it. I'm opening escrow. Here we go. That's it.
That's the nicest way I've ever heard you describe that. Because here's really what happened.
Yeah.
So I screwed this mailer up, and we're in a relationship.
Yeah.
So just think about that for a second. How much regular stuff do you screw up with your spouse? Just regular.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Then let alone like a 12,000 unit mailer.
Well, here's what's funny.
He's got to mop up the pieces for 2 months.
I do. And so here's the thing. The low numbers I can handle. It's so easy to, when we underprice, having those conversations is very easy. Like, oh, I'm sorry, add a 0. Oh, you mean add a couple zeros? Okay. I can recover from that one. But the ones that I got to talk down, the ones that they're like, oh, they think they just won the lottery and they can't sign it fast enough and send it to us. And I'm like, oh gosh, now I got to break it to this guy that's not at all what I'm willing to spend. Those are the hard ones.
I haven't done that. I haven't screwed up a mailer like this in years.
Yeah, it's been a while. This is a good one.
Like decades, actually.
Thank you.
Right. Oh, that's
keeping me on my toes.
That makes sense, because in my mind I was thinking, you wouldn't be that concerned about the mailer cost, because obviously you'll get something back, but it would just literally cog up the wheels in the rest of your business if you did that.
That's it. Well, and that's the whole reason too. You never send just a postcard or anything like that saying, "Hey, you want to sell? Call me," because everybody's going to call you. That's the last thing that you want.
You know what?
Yeah.
If there's one thing your listeners get out of this, it's that. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely wasting time by sending letters of interest and not pricing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so
make sure you're on the same page.
Yeah, to give people more insight, like the letters that we send out, they're set up in a way that you're giving an exact price to the person it's going to, and it doesn't bind us, the person sending the mail. So someone could sign it, and they say, yeah, this $100,000 for this, all right, let's do it. And you can look at it, and you didn't sign anything, so you can say, well, I don't think so. Let's do 1,000, and they can take it or leave it. But going back to what you said, like it's not just about the idea of buying and selling land. It's like all these things that you guys have put together in a way that when I went through this course, like I don't even think people really understood how smart and thought out some of these things are, because you set it up in a way and you structure the business that you present to people in a very thought out way that allows you to scale. It allows you to have the correct employees and not have to answer, like you said, these postcard calls, and it's all done properly. So, yeah, I was very surprised by that.
You guys are real logical. I'm not surprised that you're getting a lot out of this at all, because you're already selling stuff online. That's like 60% of it. You already know the trials and tribulations of crap that goes on with customers and shipping stuff and payroll
and websites
and office space and how to deal with a partner. That's the hard stuff. The easy stuff is buying and selling land. You guys are bright guys. So you already get the math piece and you understand, yield and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, you have any questions while I check my notes?
Oh yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue, but I just forgot it. Man, it's kind of
this
a
is
good
a
question
natural
too.
progression.
Well,
Yeah, anybody who knows marketing, we've had a few people that come to us with those backgrounds too.
Marketing, yeah.
Oh.
Anybody who knows marketing at all, this is such a natural progression because it's just a different product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one.
I actually feel like I was not used to, like, to me, this is a whole different form of marketing than what we do.
Yes.
And I don't know. I actually feel like all the stuff we've learned through marketing doesn't really apply to this, because you know where people are going to be. They're going to be on the MLS. They're going to be on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, whatever. There's like a set thing where people go, and as long as you do there's a threshold in terms of all the specs you put up for the property. Does it have the acreage, the right pictures, stuff like that? Right. But it comes down to, is the price right? So to me,
everything
still price
and reach.
Everything we do now, or the digital stuff that we do, is very heavily reliant on like tactics and knowing how Google Ads works, knowing how the search engine works. All this stuff that's always changing. So you got to keep up with it. And I don't know if you guys have obviously been doing some sort of business online for a while, but I don't know how familiar you guys are with like a Google update hits, and then so many people's businesses are affected. Like the search engine changed how it would rank sites, and then sites drop off, and people, I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why we went into this business model that Mike alluded to, was that we needed something that wasn't reliant on that kind of stuff at all. That could be
big tech,
totally offline. Yeah, because it's all in the hands of big tech, which we don't want.
I'm extremely familiar with that. And when we started out, when Joe and I joined forces, it was real clear to me that we needed a better way to sell property. How we bought it and how we buy it now is just an offshoot of how we've been doing it for years and years and years. But selling it, which is what you guys are talking about, with Google AdWords, and there's all kinds of different venues now that you can use, and even landing pages, and there's just tons and tons. We've been through all that, and what I determined for the reasons that you're saying, because it changes so much, and it's so expensive, it's extremely expensive. What we determined is that people love to sell their real estate by signing an offer with individuals, with not a real estate agent, or especially houses, because they don't have to clean them up. They don't, there's no open house and all that.
Yeah.
But they love to buy property through traditional channels like the MLS and through real estate agents.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they find it online first, not through us. So I've tried to buy keywords in AdWords. Let's say we have a 20-acre farm in Iowa that we picked up real cheap, and then geographically center in on who's on the internet, where geocentric around where the property is. And then use farmers and all that, and really brainy stuff didn't work for us.
Yeah.
And, not 100% sure that I was doing it right. I'm pretty confident I was, because we're getting a lot of click-throughs. We just weren't nobody's buying it.
Yeah. Well, like Mike said, I think
that's where people buy real estate.
Yeah. The price, I think you guys aren't necessarily competing on price. And when it comes to buying real estate, I think price is, like you just said, it's a big part of the equation. So no matter how you advertise it, if the price is right, you're going to find a buyer. And I think that's the difference between what you do and what we do now, is the offer campaigns that you send are designed to get you a good price. So you can literally sell it, big tech out the window. You can sell it however you want.
You can put a sign up in front of the property even.
Yep.
We have we have an advanced group of about 25 people in Land Academy and one of our advanced members in Texas, that's all he does.
Yeah.
He
What's
buys
that?
property that's conducive to signage on, usually county roads. And
Oh, yeah.
he sells it that day.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, like I thought, we were going to go into this. We've done all this stuff with the AdWords and the YouTube ads. Like, we were just going to crush it. And yeah, I found that it just didn't work. There's traditional channels for people to go and buy real estate. And as long as you're ticking the boxes of what you're reporting and what your property looks like and how you're presenting it, then it just comes down to price. And, I think that was a bit disheartening for me in the beginning because I felt like, all right, the one thing like I knew how to do, I can't even do that. So I'm just completely starting from scratch. And, I think it was like starting from scratch. I mean, we started the course in the beginning of the year, and I feel like we're only now just kind of really getting it. And yeah, I mean, you guys have all these tools for people that are watching and don't know. On top of being able to send out the mail, you guys also have tools for when the property comes back. You can look it up. You can see the boundaries of it. You can even download that and look at it on Google Earth and, see transaction data on the property. So, yeah, you guys have set things up to be very beginner friendly, or as beginner friendly as it can possibly get. Because going back to, what you were saying back in the day, it was really not beginner friendly. You really had to do some digging to do this.
I haven't said that in a while. I'm like, gosh, I wish I had a us when we were
had
getting
Land
started.
Academy,
Man, that would be so much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
I would have saved 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah, but what you guys have created, and this is something I actually, before we invest in a course, before we invested in your course, I didn't actually know about this. But if I knew about this, it would have even made me more gung ho to do it. Was what I'd like to see is you guys built a whole ecosystem around the actual selling of the land. So like Mike said, you guys make it easy to send the mailers and to get the data and all that other stuff. Whereas a lot of people, and especially in today's online world, they just want to sell you a course and then get out. So
Yeah.
well, the way you guys have done everything, it's really a win-win, because not only do you have an incentive to like provide great service, it just works. It works better all around, and that's kind of how with the direction we're going in as well with designing our courses and educational packages. Is we want to give ourselves an incentive to provide great customer service, and at the same time give our students the tools they need and the knowledge they need to succeed, especially as everything changes. And you guys have really done a great job with that.
Thank you. I'll tell you, it's so easy. All we did was listen to what they needed. First thing out of the gate, they said, we need a way to communicate with each other. And we're like, okay. It was over a weekend. I said,
one.
I need an online community. And he's like, okay. So in a weekend, he built it. And then
That's land investors.
Yeah. And then the next thing, was, we want to, it grew into the weekly calls. It grew into, like you're describing, the company Neighbor Scoop. Like, I need to be able to find these properties really easy and get all my due diligence out of the way. And so all these other things that we've added, it's all been based on what everybody said they needed. And even cheap data. That was one of the early things on too. It's like we were all separately getting our own data. I was saying, well, here's where I get my data, and so we all realized, hey, we're all spending a whole lot of money here separately. We can do this better. So we became licensed providers of it to bring the cost down too.
Mhm.
So that's the beauty of it too. Our group grew that we can all save money and benefit. And,
We've always had these tools, some version of these tools internally.
right.
For whatever reason, I'm capable of leading a tech team, a development team. It's not one of my favorite things to do at all. In fact, the older I get, the worse it is. But like Neighbor Scoop itself was actually in Microsoft Access for a while, because when it was pulling data, it was, really long time ago it was. So
Yeah.
we just made these, all the like offers to owners and the other companies. We were always doing that. We just made it so you can check out online and do it.
Yeah. It's not easy to do. I actually had my first experience. I just built a little browser game. Well, I had someone else built it, but the whole point was to just rank it in Google and to just get ad revenue. I think they're frozen. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the whole point was just to rank it in Google and just get ad revenue from people playing the game. But yeah, it was challenging going back and forth with the guy who was programming it. I can't imagine if you're building a sophisticated tool.
Yeah. Neighbor Scoop it's so many things like compiling together. I can't imagine. It's definitely a headache. But
the premise of Neighbor Scoop is very simple. About 80%, between 70 and 80% of the pieces of real estate in this country don't have a post office address. So I challenge you to go anywhere on the internet, anywhere, and take an assessor's parcel number, because that's all. If they don't have an address, that's all you have. It's an APN. Type that in somewhere and find the property.
In Google.
Because you can't.
Wouldn't be funny.
You just can't. So that was a huge challenge. Again, that we found an API provider that actually was providing that data for oil and gas companies, and convinced them that we got to crack into it. And we finally cut a deal. Jill actually went to Irvine, sat down with we both did. So there's so much work that goes on. And then it's just funny because you get on Neighbor Scoop and it's like, oh, okay, bang, 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 and it's over.
I'd love to hear more about that stuff, but that's another show. That's another show's topic.
So many hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
But final question.
For everyone that worked, by the way, just to finish that thought, for the Neighbor Scoops that are up and running and functional and collecting money, and it's a SaaS model, there's about 6 of them that have failed. Car Academy is one of them.
Well, my question is, how did you guys get these great domains? Land Academy, House Academy, Land Investors?
I'm going to give you a secret. You guys know. Give me 1 second. There's if you Google expired domains. You guys know about this site?
Yeah, for sure.
On that?
People usually buy
expireddomains.net.
Yeah, people usually buy expired domains for other reasons, like for like using the backlinks, like they can kind of if the domain is so I'm sure you know about that, but
age and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had to pay for Land Academy. Now I think about it, it was I don't know how many we had. It was landacademy.org originally, and people thought, "Oh, you're a nonprofit." I'm like, "We are not a nonprofit." So then later on, because we couldn't afford landacademy.com, it was like Robert Land Academy or something. I don't know, in fact, like a Canadian school or something. Anyway,
we're not afraid to pay for .com.
You're not afraid to pay.
Now
I was like, wow, they really must have paid for all to have Land Academy, House Academy, and Car Academy.
Yeah.
You're not just, going on Namecheap or GoDaddy and typing that in and boom.
Exactly.
They're serious about this. So
we've all wasted a weekend typing stuff into GoDaddy.
The only one I couldn't get, I'll never forget. Remember the lady, we wanted to get jackandjill.com one time, and this lady would not sell it. It was like, she wanted something like $60,000. And I'm like, well, lady, you better have your kids watching that, and keep an eye on it after you die, because you're not going to get it. It was funny. I think even that story and a lot of the things that we've touched upon is a big reason why you guys are successful, and how you kind of taught other people to be successful is that if you want something, sorry, my screen record just died, just too much. But if you guys want something, you're going to push through and find a way to get it. You're contacting people that own jackandjill.com. You're going to meetings with these data companies, all just to push your business forward. Yeah. And I don't think enough people have that mindset, that they have to do it. They have to just overcome these hurdles. And with land, that is really a big thing. And something that if I didn't have, the previous online business experience, I wouldn't have known to do that. I probably would have just given up. But yeah, you guys have. So I mean, that's just a great example of what it takes.
That is the single biggest reason this doesn't work out. And I don't think just land, but everything. So my question to you guys is, how do you teach that?
We do live streams, and people come on and they say things, and we just tell them, listen, you're screwing up because you're not, that's your problem.
Your mind's not in the right place.
Your mind's on the right place, and we have a membership where people come and they can talk to us one-on-one. They get a private thread. So we have to aside from the data stuff and aside from doing things the right way, we tell people you can give 2 people the same website, same everything. One person might be extremely successful with it. The other person will do nothing. And it's going to come down to exactly what you said. So sometimes we're not even teaching them these tactics. It's just you need to figure out if you actually want to do this or not, because
Right.
you don't want it right now. So
You're so many of our consulting calls are like that. It starts out in one direction, but then it ends up, it's just a motivational thing. And it's
Yeah.
just like they're afraid to push the button to send the offers out, and submit it. And that's it. And then it's like, why are you afraid to push them out? Well, then the phone's going to ring. I'm like, well, that's the greatest thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with that? Well, then I'm not going to sound like I'm a professional. Well, hold on a moment. We'll get you there. It's okay.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's
it's a whole therapy thing.
I think all of
Yes.
us,
Totally.
all of us that I think you're right. I don't think it really matters. Like we've done different companies in the past too. And I know in my soul that no matter what we put our attention on, we will do it. We will kill it. It's just, what do we want to focus on? So we have, even through Land Account, we've started other things, and we took a step back and going, all right, is that the business we really want to spin into? And no, it's not every day. Or we always come back to land. And it's one of the things too, I just love through all the years, land has always kept food on the table. We've steered away on different things way before Land Academy. But the buying and selling of land can always put food on your table. So I will never get rid of that.
Yeah. That's how we knew when we were taking your course. We didn't expect to come out of it and know everything about everything right away. Yeah. So our number one priority was, all right, get the mailers, get them out and see what happens. Yeah. And then obviously we learned from there. So I think that's the number one thing, because you had, like you said, you had someone call you and they were afraid to push the button, is that first time just pushing the button and seeing what happens and tweaking it from there.
Yeah, you have to push through that fear. You have to push through, whatever that anxiety is in your head, and you convincing yourself you can't do something.
Yeah, and knowing you're going to screw it up.
Yeah.
Knowing you're going to fix it on the next one. And one screw up doesn't mean you throw in the towel and say, well, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, you're going to fix it and do it right the next time.
None of us would be married if that was the case.
Right.
Yeah.
We're like this last mailer. I mean, we still make mistakes now and then. So what? Fix it. Move on. We laugh about it. In our advanced group, you know what? That's one of the things too. In our advanced group, that's one of the topics we often get on. Like, hey, listen to what I did this time. And you're like, oh gosh, I missed that one. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
We all do it. It's okay.
Yeah. Well,
The advanced group is a really special set of people, because we all started in the same place, and if you look at all of them and you ask them all the questions, they'll have completely different questions to everything except for this question: why are you guys successful? And they all look at each other, and they have never questioned not being successful. Like, they will do whatever it takes to get the stuff done. Mm-hmm. And there's no pride about it. When I did Land Investors, I'm not patting myself on the back, but when I went on a 3-day vacation, because our people needed a forum, a bigger pockets type forum. And I built the site myself entirely with that. And I realized at the end of it, I stayed up for 30 hours doing it. You just don't know that's happening while it's happening. So that's what it takes to be successful. Forget about this stuff, anything, I think.
Yeah. That's great.
I think that's the perfect way to end it.
Yeah.
So, so thank you guys so much for coming on. Where can people find you again?
Landacademy.com.
Cool.
Yes. And if you, and houseacademy.com, but what I was going to say, I was going to do some shameless self-promotion. So,
good. Okay.
If they go on Land Academy, they decide they want to do it, you can use coupon code BAO, BAO, and I think you get $500 off. Cool. I think that's what it is.
Easy as that.
Nice.
You guys didn't even know that happened, so we circumvented you guys. We had the sit down meeting in Irvine, and we got it done. So use coupon code BAO. We did what we had to do, and we're here. So thank you guys again.
Thanks, guys.
And
Thank you. Happy to be
take it easy.
Thank you.